Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's time for me to do my Dark Visions 25 ticket summon and also talk a little bit about Dark Visions and how this one has been going. I don't have a ton to say about this one that I haven't already said in the Beige Carpet review, but I did want to go ahead and throw the tickets and see what we can get just because I said I was going to and talk a little bit about it. So here we go. Go ahead and throw our first ticket. Now, in comparison to last month's Dark Visions and the Dark Visions before, this one is obviously really different. The main team and the main clears that people are going for all involve one unit, and then a couple of units that are supporting that unit. So we're talking about Berserker Riku, of course. And thankfully, I do happen to have a Berserker Riku. Mine is only at EX1, so already we're off the bat with a yellow. My Berserker Riku is at EX1. And so what that means for me is that without some real effort and some change, it really requires a lot of work. Well, not without effort and change. Without EX2, it means that I can't automatically use the same clear that everybody else is using. The problem is that she does not start with her limit burst, and so you need her limit burst on turn 2, and you had to find a way to do that. I also don't have the units that are giving the proper killers to really amp her up, and so I had to figure out a way to make that work. And I'll show you the team that I was using, and I don't really feel like doing a run, but it involves Yoshikiri. Okay, so Yoshikiri's intrinsic is really helping me out, and as of right now, I just checked, my rank is in the like 830s or something like that, and that's enough for me. Like I did a couple of runs last night after my stream, just to see can I get back under rank 1000, and I did, and I'm pretty much gonna leave that alone. This one for me has just been really not necessarily demoralizing. Like I'm not interested in like quitting Dark Visions over it because I think the rewards are really good to just like at least try and get. I think Galvanite's important. I think Dark Matter is really important. I'm not gonna just quit Dark Visions, but like this one made me not want to do Dark Visions anymore. Okay, we got an upgrade. So hopefully this goes all the way and gives us a Cecil. Please, Cecil, maybe. Yeah, not happening. Kunshira, no. Yeah, I'm not really interested in it. The RNG swing is just too big. So last night when I was doing my couple of runs that I did, I went from 8 billion damage to my final run, which was like my best one ever, to 27 billion. So the swing is just huge, all based on randomness. And I know everybody's saying the same thing, but that's just like, that's the reality of it. You know, it's like, how many counters am I getting? What's the variance on each individual hit going to be? You know, whatever. How much damage am I going to take? Because, you know, if you don't gear her right, you know, you could take too much damage because the boss throws a bunch of ice beams. Like it's very random, and that's not entertaining to me. What I really like as far as a challenge goes is something that I can predict, plan for, and control. And I know bosses have some degree of RNG anyway, and that's okay. But this one being solely RNG, it's like how many hits is it going to throw? What hits is it going to throw? How many of those are going to proc counters? How many of those are going to be dodged? You know, it's just there's so many different levels of RNG, not to mention just individual attack variants for each individual hit. So it's just too much for me personally. I don't like it. Do I think that it's like ruining the game, or do I think that it is you know, unfair that players who just happen to have Riku can perform better than players who like don't or spend money or anything like that? I don't really know. I mean, Dark Visions has always been you know, a function of what gear you have and what units you have and what, you know, whatever. I know I talk about this one a lot, but there was one several months ago that was like how you did depended solely on how many copies of Sky's STMR you had, and I had like 2. So like for me it was like, well, I can't compete with players who have 8. It doesn't matter, you know. And so I did my best and got what I got, and you know, whatever. I try. Now that there's actual good rewards under rank 1000, I really want to be under rank 1000, but it's not like a huge deal at the end of the day. It's not like I'm like clamoring to spend my Galvanite or anything like that. Just want to throw out there that so far these rates have been really bad. This session's been really poor. So maybe this is going to turn it around. Maybe? No, of course not. Of course not. So I was saying, so yeah, Dark Visions has always kind of been like that. And this one is just like that. It's just like it in a different way. You know, the key factors are, do you have Riku? Did you make her at level 130? Did you max her out? Did you have, you know, some cow gear? Do you have Titus's vision card, which I don't have either. So you had to kind of like adjust your build and like just try and get as many counters as you have. And then just the randomness of the game, you know. And to me, that's not exciting. There's no planning. There's a strategy. There's just no like plan or control or like skill involved. You know, there's no like whatever. So like for me, like I said, I don't have EX2 Riku. I don't have Ash. I don't have, you know, a lot of the units that people are using to, or not Ash. I don't have the units that people are using to really get there. I think it's I can't remember who people were using for the Machine Killer buff, but somebody was using the one that has Machine Rune. I just I don't have it all, everything that I need available. I could use Machine Rune, but I don't have the ability to fill Riku's LB gauge. That's the problem. I couldn't use her because I couldn't fill Riku's LB gauge. So like I ended up using Yoshikiri. I did have Vilk, but I also had other 90 breakers, so I'm not too worried about Vilk. Man, 2 of these guys? Come on. Not too worried about Vilk. But, you know, everybody else is kind of the same as what people are using. Ferris and Rivera and Nicole. That I had. But it all came down to killers and Riku's LB on turn 2. So, like I said, it's just randomness. My best run ever had a chain of like 215 or something like that, something ridiculous. My worst chain ever had like a chain of 40. My worst damage was about 2 billion and my best damage was 27 billion. And to me, that is just like way too much variance swing. It's just a little crazy. Oh, okay, Prompto, nice. Last ticket. What's it gonna be? Looking like we're not getting our Cecil here, which is a bummer. So I'll show you my team that I used, and it's like everybody else's. I mean, the difference is Yoshikiri, and my main strategy was just to fill Riku's LB gauge by using his ability that fills LB gauge for the party. That's the main change. Yep, nothing from these tickets. So let's take a look and see at this point where my rank is. Yeah, 842. I don't expect it's going to change too much in the next, 14 hours or so. I don't know how much time is left. But here's the basic team that I was running. Nicole, Riku, Yoshikiri, Ferris, Vilk, and Rivera. Not that surprising. Some limitations that I have. She's only EX1. I have to use the Magister's Crown because I don't have Titus's Vision card. So I put the best one on her I could. So my stats are a little lower because I can't run a Ruler's Crown. And otherwise, there you are. I mean, there's that. And I'm using Yoshikiri, who's got his Intrinsic, and his Intrinsic is nice. It's a nice, it's a 400 buff and a 200% Machine Killer, so it's nice. It's just not as good as it could be if you were using something like Machine Rune from Ilmatal or something like that, who I have, but then I can't do it because she doesn't have her LB gauge on turn 1. So there you go. I'm not going to run through a clear because it's the same as everybody else. The only difference is I'm just using Yoshikiri to fill LB gauge on turn 1 and chain, and just help those two cap to push the boss under 80% or under 90%. Otherwise, it's the same as everybody else is doing. So there's no need for me to demonstrate that. Anyway, that's kind of my take on Dark Visions for the month. It's less fun than last month and way less fun than the month before. Just because the options are so limited for like what actually works. I tried to do a non-Riku clear myself and did about 6 billion damage with like the best possible team that I could come up with. And some of my bad Riku clears were under 6 billion, and my best one obviously way over 27 billion. So just it's boring that that it's random chance. I mean, maybe you're somebody who likes random chance. If so, I guess this Dark Visions and the next one is probably going to be kind of fun for you. I've heard the next one also can use Riku potentially as well. But I think it's really boring, and I know lots of other players think it's really boring. I know lots of players think it's unfair too. I'm not necessarily in the unfair camp. I mean, could I have pulled for more Rikus? Yeah, I could have. Did I just mainly pull her for a couple of her TMR and STMR? Yeah, you know, I don't really have a strong affinity for Riku, you know, but you know, it is what it is. You pull for the units you want. That's how you end up not getting units like Ash and Cecil and things like that, unless you really wanted Ash and Cecil, in which case you pulled for them. But that's all I've really got for right this moment as far as Dark Visions goes. This one's boring. please make the next one better. Yeah, I got nothing out of those tickets. No NVs. You know, surprise, surprise. All right, well, we'll see you tomorrow, where we're gonna be pulling for the new unit, and hopefully that goes better than pulling for these Dark Visions tickets. All right, have fun. Take care, guys.